Hello, everyone. My name is Rianat Wahab Abosede, and I am the Ogun State champion for Nigeria Youth SDGs. This virtual conversation on the theme Digital Generation, Our Generation is in commemoration of the International Day of the Girl Child. We have three amazing panelists that are going to be involved in this discussion. But before we move to the panel session, I would like Goodness Ode to give us the opening remark.
Hello, and thank you for having me, Reynolds. Thank you, our amazing panelists. We're excited to have this discussion today. As we well know, the month of October, amongst the various um, global events and activities that has been commemorated for, is commemorated for the International Day for the Girl Child. And for us as a network, this year's International Day for the Girl Child is key because of the theme being digital generation, our generation. And what is important for us is how we are able to raise and amplify the voice and skill sets of girls and young women to meet the needs and demands of the digital economy. So in line with this, and this discussion has been in the loop since we were able to have our panelists who are also young women thriving in the digital space to attend the Global Youth Summer Camp, which was um, conducted by the International Labour Organization, the ILO, supporting us. So the network was able to support these young women to attend the the Global Youth Summer Camp. And through this summer camp, these young ladies were able to get relevant digital skills, which also supports the work they are doing around technology to improve the needs and rights of girls, of young women, and of youth development in general. So this and more is why this conversation is important, and not just for young women. It is important for organizations, for individuals, so that we understand and at the same time prioritize digitalization of the resources that is inherent in young girls. And it is critical for us as a network because um, before now and even going forward, there would be more gender mainstreaming of the digital skill, which is core for us of young women and girls. So let me not delve so much into what our panelists will be discussing. I just want to welcome everyone to this conversation. We would be reading some of your engagement in the comment section on our Facebook Live. You can as well read the experience of these young ladies, Tracy, Blessing, and Elizabeth, on our Facebook page. They shared their story with us. So if you check our Facebook page, you'll see the link to the blog where we also highlighted their experience and what stood out for them in the Global Summer Youth Camp. So some of these is what we'll be discussing. And again, we are grateful to the International Labour Organization for the support we're able to get on this. So enjoy the conversation, engage, and I look forward to also being part of this wonderful discourse today with other ladies. I'll hand over to Reynolds, our wonderful moderator, who is also a young lady who is thriving in the digital space and creating possibilities for other young girls and women to take greater strides in our digital economy, which is our generation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Goodness. Thank you very much. I can see Chidima Mary Oyenkachi. Welcome. Good evening. You can drop. I can see Jares JR1. I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name very well. So you can drop the state where you are watching us from. If you're not in Nigeria, you can just drop, the country where you are watching us from. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. So, like Goodness said, today's session is going to be on the theme Digital Generation, Our Generation, and it will be discussed by three awesome, amazing champions, and you can see them here already. So, we have Tracy Uzogre. I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name very well. Yeah, I can see she's smiling. So Tracy will be speaking on the topic building a digital footprint. So we have Elizabeth Ita. So I'm sure I pronounced that well. So she'll be speaking on becoming a digital citizen. And our next speaker will be Blessing Ashi, and she'll be speaking on closing the digital divide. So I'm going to start with Tracy. Tracy, can you please introduce yourself?
You very much, Reinhard.
Tracy, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So thank you very much, Reinhard, and thank you to the network for putting this together. My name is Tracy Uzoigwe, and I'm a state champion of the Nigerian Seed SDG Network. I'm also a digital marketing professional. Thank you.
All right, that's awesome. So I'll move to the next speaker, Elizabeth Ita. Can we get to know you?
Okay, thank you very much. I hope that you can hear me loud and clear. So my name is Elizabeth Ita. I'm a radiographer, a graphic designer, a digital polymath, IBM certified design thinking professional. I'm really interested and invested in the digital space. I'm also a mental health advocate. I work with Stilt NG and I love volunteering.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Blessing, Ashi, can we get to know you?
Okay, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So my name is Blessing. I work with Technology for Social Change and Development Initiative. I am the Basic Digital Literacy programs lead at the organization, or Tech for Dev. I am very, very enthusiastic about digital skills. I mean, it's been my thing for some 3 4 years now, and I'm also excited about volunteering and also working on projects that relates to young people and also around their sexual reproductive health. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So from their introduction, you can see that these amazing women are talking about technology. So today they are going to share their experiences using technology to create decent work for youth. So Tracy, I'm going to start with you. Now, my question is, what does digitalization mean to you?
Okay. Thank you, Reinhard, for that question. I hope you can hear me. So,
Yes.
for me, digitalization is simply integrating digital technologies in our everyday life. And by that, I mean that we would have to adopt everything that is digital, that is technology oriented, to adopt them into our businesses, our career, even our personal development and growth. So it means that if you want to move from point A to point B in your business, in your career, in your life, or just as a human being, right, you have to adopt digital technologies, to do that, or assist yourself with those technologies to do that. And that's how I see, or what digitalization means to me. And in a nutshell, I would say that digitalization is adopting to the new language of the global space to create more value as a person, for your organization, for your community, or whatever you're doing, just adopting to the new language of the global space. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So from what you've explained, and based on your experience, Can you tell us what young people can do to build sustainable career and life by adapting to digitalization?
Okay, thank you. So first, I will come from the perspective of post-COVID, right? Because the 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 landmark of the digitalization at this time or at this point in life became intense after COVID, when people knew that they had to move from having a general meeting in their offices into having meetings in remote settings, having online meetings, having online trainings, and all of that. And that sort of changed the entire model of a lot of business, of a lot of transaction, of a lot of capacity building that people would usually do. So, as a young person who wants to, like I said, adopt to the new language of the global space, the first thing that you need to do is to have a mindset shift, right? Because it is transitioning from the old to the new, or rather to the new normal. So it is first a mind thing. You have to have a mindset shift, knowing that I have to move from where I was or what I used to know to what it is now, so that I can create value, so that I as a person would also be valuable in my own sphere, right? So you have to have that mindset shift as a young person, because if you don't, it means that your mind will not be open to a lot of opportunities, a lot of learning curves, a lot of things that you need to do to be able to be in the age of digitalization as a young person. So first is the mindset shift, and then the next is to um, sign up on networks or platforms that are relevant to your learning curve or relevant to your area or your sphere. What that means is when you go online, you don't just open up pages, um, create pages on Facebook, Instagram for just creating sake. You have to be intentional about signing up on some of these online platforms. And for more valued digitalization as a person, as an individual, when you go all out on the internet to sign up for things, you should also know that you want to be able to give value at the end of the day. Let it be that you are literate in with using some of these tools, or operating your laptop or even a smartphone, not just because you want to own one, but because you want to grow yourself and be valuable to your community, to your workspace, or even to that future job that you want to work in, or that future place that you want to, or plans that you have for yourself. So that takes me to the fact that when you begin to sign up, then you begin to intentionally build digital skills. Now, digital skills comes with the entire clause of digitalization, because there's no digitalization without the skills that are behind it. So you have to build the skills, and I'm sure some of the other panelists would dwell more on building digital skills and how you can do that. And then when you build digital skills, you will be able to engage in programs that are actively connecting you with the demands of your community, of your industries, of your employers, right? So a PA job now is no longer the PA job of before, where somebody just have to type on a Microsoft document and print it out or submit to their boss. Right now, PA jobs have left the level where you just, type on Microsoft. People are using other softwares to communicate, to do a lot of things. And it means that you need to up your skill if you're a PA of before and still want to be a PA now, right? So you now need to actively, after building these skills, you now need to actively engage, connect with the demands that are specific to your industries. And one of the ways you can do this is take online courses, on platforms that can help you build some of these skills, right? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Tracy. That was an insightful one. So, like she said, you have to be intentional about what you do on social media. And also, you have to learn some skills when it comes to technology. So, that brings me to Elizabeth Ita. Can you tell us who a digital citizen is?
Okay, thank you very, very much for that question. Digital citizenship is a very, very broad subject, but I'll do my best to compress it in the few minutes that I have to be speaking. So digital citizen basically is a person who has the knowledge and the skills to effectively use technology to communicate with others, to participate in society, and of course to create and consume digital content. It refers to a person that's able to responsibly use technology. Anyone who uses computers, internet, or digital devices to engage with society on any level is a digital citizenship. Citizen rather. As the rate of technology continues to increase and the whole world becomes more dependent on technology for a lot of things, it is more apparent that more and more people are becoming digital citizens. So it could be as simple as checking your bank account online. We have online banking. It could be online shopping. It could be keeping in touch with a friend that's using technology for social. And of course, everything that is good also has a bad, aspect to it. So just as we have good digital citizens, we also have bad digital citizens or bad digital citizenship. Now, good digital citizenship involves the ability to connect with people, empathize, create lasting relationships using these digital tools. But bad digital citizenship involves things like cyberbullying, which is becoming a very, very big thing now, irresponsible use of social media, spending a lot of time on social media, a general lack of knowledge about how to satisfactorily use the internet. For people that know the abundance of information on the internet and how to access it, there are so many things that you can get, a lot of information you can get from just being on the internet. So digital citizenship has just 7 basic concepts. I spoke about empathy before. Empathy is one of it. It's crucial to understanding how people talk and how they behave online. So because the internet relies basically on text-based communications, it's impossible to hear someone's voice or hear their vocal tone or see their facial expressions and all of that. So empathy is very, very, very important when it comes to communicating online. Then, of course, how the internet works is another very important part of digital citizenship. The internet has become so fast and so responsive that there are so many processes involved in doing a search, getting information, and all of that. And very few people know how these processes work and how to use them. So it's an important aspect of digital citizenship, how to use the internet, how the internet works. Then, of course, there's understanding user data. So whenever you download an app, you use the website to tell you something like accept all cookies, manage cookies, and then many times, I know I'm guilty of that a lot of times, I don't have the time or the energy to, like many people, to go through a privacy document, and so we just click accept, not knowing what our data is going to be used for. So understanding user data is very important. This data helps companies do their marketing, make millions, but there are companies that also use it for very malicious purposes, and that's something that we need to be careful about as well. Then the fourth aspect of digital citizenship is practicing digital literacy. This basically means the practice of reading information online and understanding what it means, where it originated, and whether it is accurate. We've heard all the noise online about fake news, this fake news, that, and all of that. So digital literacy means that ability to also identify whether a news is accurate or whether it is fake. And a good digital citizen will know how to do that as well. Then number 5 is acknowledging the digital divide. So the digital divide basically is the disparity between those who have access to modern digital tools like computers and the internet and those who don't. And this is very important to note because the internet is still a luxury in some parts of the world. And of course, access to computers and the internet is a very, very, is very restricted in some parts of the world as well. Then, of course, number 6 is practicing digital wellness. And this is something that a lot of people overlook, but it's very, very, very important because a lot of screen time can cause eye problems, can cause mental health problems, can cause migraines. It can cause a lot of things, So digital wellness basically is the practice of refraining from indulging in the internet and digital media for unreasonable amounts of time. In very simple terms, it means knowing when to take a break away from your screen. Yes, I also mentioned about how it can, and too much screen time can have adverse effects, and then of course securing digital devices, your passwords. How strong are your passwords? How secure is your information? How secure are you online? Can people easily have access to your social accounts, your bank accounts, and everything, and all of that? That's something also that is a very strong part of digital citizenship. So I trust that I've been able to summarize and give at least some basic understanding of what it is. Like I said, it's a very, very broad subject. Thank you so much for the question.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Of course, you've done justice to that question. So now the question for the viewers now is: are you a good or bad digital citizen? So ask yourself that question, and if you are part of the bad digital citizen, just try to know how to repent and do some things to make yourself a good digital citizen. So now my question goes to Blessing Ashi. So Blessing, from what Elizabeth has talked about, she talked about so many things, and Tracy. So can you please identify some of the areas where we are lagging in the digital space as young people in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you so much for the question, and it's been an amazing session this evening, I must say. Good evening once again to everyone. So I would start by speaking about digital divide. Elizabeth already started the conversation talking about the disparity that exists between people who have access to digital skills versus people who do not have access to digital skills. And I would say that one of the contributing factors to the divide is because some people do not have access to infrastructures, and in the place where there are infrastructures, there's a challenge of internet, and in the place where there is internet, there's a challenge of people not knowing that there are skills that are available for them to learn. Statistically, you would find out that we still have a long way to go in Nigeria. Basically, comparing Nigeria to the other parts of the countries in the world, we still have a lot of young people who do not know how. And who do not know what they need to do. So when it comes to the digital divide, you first in the digital space, we talk about the basic, we talk about intermediate, and we talk about the advanced levels. And a lot of people are quick to get into the intermediate level. I would explain what that is, but forgetting that you cannot get into an intermediate skill set if you do not even have a basic skill set. So what exactly is the basic skill set? The basic digital skill set is when you know what the basics of a computer is about, when you also know about the digital citizenship. If you do not know how, you would be struggling in the long run. So it's important that people have access to these basic digital skills. But apparently, there are a lot of factors that has made that difficult. Then you see a lot of young people who are quick to say, "Oh, I want to learn intermediate skills. I want to become a programmer. I want to become a software developer. I want to become a UI UX designer. I want to become a cybersecurity expert. I want to become a data analyst." So all of these skill sets are skill sets that are very, very important, especially in the 21st century. We all know that the future of work is tech, and if you do not have a tech skill, you might struggle across board because the knowledge you have, the technological knowledge you have, would help to advance other sector, be it healthcare, be it economic, be it finance, be it legal system, because it's a global village right now. So, bridging the digital divide, everybody has a role to play. The government has a role to play. Private sector has a role to play. Public sector has a role to play. For the government, one of the key things that they could do is for them to build infrastructures, because that's a major factor. You find out that Nigerians have, how many youths do we have in the world, in Nigeria generally, and to count the number of infrastructures or to count the number of facilities that we have, it is very, very limited. And so if we are saying that we want to the future of work is tech and we have limited facility, it then will be very difficult to achieve this particular goal. So one of the role of the government is to have infrastructures. At the private public sector level also is to look out to having infrastructure. So beyond having a facility, it's also important we look at the device, because so I was having a conversation with somebody and the person mentioned that he had access to computer at age 5, and for me I had my first access to having a computer or interacting with a computer was after I'd finished my secondary school. And see the gap. That's why if you look at somebody who is in a public school versus someone who is in a private school, there's always a gap, because what digital skills does for you is that it opens your mind to other opportunities that are available. So yeah, the government have roles to play. Also, in the place where you have infrastructures, then there's a place for internet not being available. Thank God for the fact that internet is becoming cheaper by the day. But then looking at the broadband level, there are still a lot of communities in Nigeria, a lot of communities in northern Nigeria where it's difficult to reach because of the fact that there are no infrastructures available to carry these trainings. Also, electricity. So there's a whole lot to talk about, but the most important thing is the fact that we have people who are willing enough and ready to actually engage, chart up a career in digital skills, because of course the newest currency is technology. And if you have a tech background in any learning track, you'll be able to help the economy grow faster. And also, I'm wrapping up. I would say that COVID-19 opened our eyes to several things. I mean, a lot of people lost their jobs, and the people who were able to work and fend for themselves during the pandemic were people who actually had a tech background. For me, I didn't stop working because, of course, I was working in the tech space. But then there were people like the janitors, receptionists. There were a lot of people who couldn't work. So it just opened our eyes to the fact that you can actually work from home, and you can work at ease. You can actually have your clients all over the horizons and you can work at ease. So it's important that people start considering digital skills. For us to be able to bridge the divide, it's important to consider digital skills. And also there's a place for having more men in tech than women in tech. So there's a whole lot of conversations we can have. So if we must successfully bridge the digital divide, it's important that we encourage stakeholders, policymakers to encourage women and girls to also participate in tech. Final thing I would say is there was a time I was running a survey. I was calling for facilitators for a program, and it was a northern state. And amazingly, we received 624 applications, 714 applications. But let me shock you, 612 applicants were men, and we had only 62 or 52 women apply for this program as a facilitator. So there's a whole lot of gap there. So it's important that we encourage women and girls to participate in charting up careers in tech, encourage them, pair them with mentors. So there are a whole lot of careers courses you can take. Tracy already mentioned having a network, check online, you can check the Youth and Youth SDG. There's currently a program going on. You can check online, check Google, check on Tech for them. There's a whole lot of resources available for people to chart up a career in tech. That way, we'll be able to bridge the digital divide. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Blessing. She has said a whole lot, and I know that a lot of people can relate, especially during the COVID-19, where all meetings and some of the activities done in the office were converted to, making use of Zoom, Google Meet, and so on. So for you to be a good digital citizen, like I said earlier, you have to, acquire some skills, and then we have everyone needs to do something. The government, for us to have a good digital environment, we all need to put our hands together to make it work. So, Tracy, my question goes to you now. Blessing has said a lot. So, can you tell us some practical self-help tools we can use to build digital footprint in the sphere of influence?
Thank you for that question. So first, I want to like give a background of what digital footprint means, right? So digital footprint is basically having been on the digital space, right? From the word footprint, it means that you leave a mark, right? So your digital footprint is actually the record or trail that you leave behind, the things that you do online. And it encompasses like a lot of things, from your social media activities to your personal business website, to comments that you make online, to your browsing history, to your online subscriptions, to your photo galleries that you save up on Google Drive, a number of things, right? So they all make, form the huge chunk of your digital footprint. And why is it important that in this era of digitalization, we should be able to leave a positive footprint? It is important because that is the mark that you make of being a digital citizen, so to speak, right? So you're a digital citizen, you're out there in the digital space, you have a website, maybe you are in one of these social media platforms, you make comments, you make posts, you sign up on things, you sign up on newsletters, you do a lot of things from different angles. So eventually you are a digital citizen. And as a digital citizen, eventually you're going to leave footprints in all of these things that you do. And it is important that for an individual who is looking to be valuable in the digital space, because it is from our footprints that people draw up content that or activities that we have engaged in after a long time, when we are about to do something big, something relevant, something significant. People just go out and draw these footprints that we have left behind. And that's why people say that the internet never forgets. I don't know if we're familiar with that. The internet never forgets, because you always leave a footprint. Somebody can go and drop some sign up that you did, even mistakenly, right? And it will come up in a subject matter that will be something that need to decide your next very big thing that needs to happen to you. So if we're not careful about the footprint that we leave as individuals, as young people who are looking to do great in this same space that is now our new normal, it will be a problem. Something that's supposed to be a blessing to us and for us will now become a problem eventually. So having said that, I would say one of the first things that we need to do is to, when you're on the digital space, please, it is not, the digital space is not like your father's house. Permit me to use that word. It is not your mother's kitchen. You need to be mindful of the kind of words that you use out there. You need to be mindful. You need to be mindful of the tone of the words that you use out there. It is not necessary for you to write on every platform. It is not necessary for you to also be on every platform. It's not necessary for you to sign up on everything that you see, right? And then it's not necessary for you to comment at every trend or at everything that you see. So you need to mind the words that you use, so that your footprint would be those that would help. Because nowadays people, I remember someone recommended me for an opportunity, right? So what the man did was to go and check on my social media page. Now imagine if I had footprints that did not resonate with the things that were said behind my back by the other person. It would tell a different story, and I would have lost that opportunity. So please, we need to be mindful of the things that we put out there about ourselves on our comments. And then the next thing is I know it's not very easy, but you need to keep check on the kinds of accounts that you open on the internet. You need to keep check of it as much as you can. Just make sure you keep check on these things, so that you don't go out of track. When you think that all is well, someone will just pick up something from nowhere, and then it's now, giving you that, not allowing you move to that next big thing that you want to do. Then another thing is how people overshare or misinformation. I've been privileged to attend a training on this as well. please, to leave a very positive digital footprint, you need to restrict yourself, hold yourself back from oversharing things. Like Elizabeth said, people just there are a lot of fake news everywhere, and people just share when they receive, they just share without trying to. I know that is also a skill, because I also had to go through a training to learn how to validate information. So I tell you a short story. So one night my mom sent me a video, and on this video, it was a video from iPhone talking about the new iPhone that they're about to release. And the only thing they were saying on that video was that for you to be able to have access to the iPhone, you must take the vaccine. I saw the video like past 1 a.m. I looked at the video because I've gone through the training on verifying news and videos. I knew that somewhere at the back of my mind that I the owners of iPhone would not do a publicity of this sort. Number one, and then I went and started looking for that like video that relates to that particular launch of that phone. And you know what? I found the video that was the original. What these people did was to take the voice that was there, take the first screenshot. It looked like the original, but it was not. What they were saying was completely different from what was said. And so I had to share back to my mom and told her that, Mommy, this is not the real thing. Please stop sharing, So people do share things like that. And if we're not careful, we will be carriers of bad news, and it can be used against us in the future. And then another thing you need to do, like Elizabeth already said, to keep have a password that is strong enough. If possible, there are tools that can help you safeguard your passwords. Please use them. Please use them. Then you should also try to, Elizabeth already mentioned, try to look at the terms and conditions, because when these companies will come back at you, the thing is because you clicked on that, they won't even mind that you didn't read or not, because they expected you to read that. So try to just have a scheme, like try to read around just somehow. It's not something that people easily do, but it's also a way for you to help sustain a positive digital footprint in the digital space. And then you need to also understand that you can also use other digital tools to manage your digital footprint. What do I mean? So there are tools already available. For example, the Google Password SafeLock is a tool that helps you safeguard your password. Now, this is a digital tool that is helping you manage your digital footprint, right? Now, on Facebook, for example, Facebook already has tools or functions or options that will help you manage the kinds of posts that people tag you on. You can decide if you want them to show. Those are things that can help you manage your digital footprint, because someone can just tag you and you click on a link, and then they start posting things on your page without you knowing, and that's already giving you a negative footprint on the digital space. So we need to understand that there are also digital tools that are aware that people need to keep a positive digital footprint. So those tools will help you manage, your entire digital footprints, and we should, take advantage of these tools to make sure that we'll leave a positive digital footprint even in this era of digitalization. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tracy. That was awesome. I hope you've all learned one or two things from what she said. Leave a good digital footprint online. So now I'm going to come back to Elizabeth Ita. She's already smiling. So based on your experience, what can young people like yourself do to become digitally inclusive globally?
Okay, thank you again for another awesome question. Okay, basically, digital inclusion is making sure that everybody has the opportunity and the skills to be able to access and then make use of digital technology. And there are so many things that can be done, but which I will summarize into two. Now, before I now state what they are, I'd like to state again that watching content online is not digital inclusion. People that spend time binging on TikTok and YouTube videos, that is not part of digital inclusion. A young person might be very good at finding and watching videos online, but the passive consumption of digital content, online content, is not digital inclusion. Now, for young people to experience the opportunities that access to the wealth of knowledge the internet provides, for people to experience those opportunities, they need to have a range of skills that will help them interact with digital technology. Skills like problem solving, transacting, communication, creating and managing information. So very, very important and vital skills to have. They must have these skills and more, because in the coming years, there will be tens of thousands of jobs available for those with advanced digital skills. And with the predicted growth of this digital skill gap, the future for those without access to digital learning doesn't look very bright or very promising. The majority of young people today don't possess the right skills to fill vacancies that are going to become more widespread. Already, I've heard it over and over again. I heard it last year. I've heard it again this year. I've done my research, and then I have seen this to be true. So there is a skill gap. There are jobs available, but there are very few people with the right skills to fill those gaps. So what young people can do to be digitally inclusive globally, very important. I think Tracy talked about this. Take courses. Very, very important. Take courses. Now, there are many courses online that young people can take, and many of them are free in digital skills, in virtually almost any field, of endeavor. There are online courses that can help on Future Learn, on Coursera, EDX, Allison. There are many, very, very many. And the beautiful thing about this digital literacy that we're talking about is that Microsoft has courses in digital literacy. So you can literally go and visit their website, or you just search on Google for Microsoft's digital literacy courses, and then go to the website, and then you can now see the wide range of courses that you can take just using your mobile phone. It's that easy. So you don't need to go to a cyber cafe, go and pay for internet. I mean, it's easier now because we have mobile phones, and then we have access to. Some people do have access to. So regardless of how small your subscription might be, you can try maybe one module a day. You can even do one course in one day, because most of these courses are as little as 1 hour, 1 hour 30 minutes. So you can do that, and then get your certification, and then put on LinkedIn, which is the second thing that I was going to talk about. It's something that I came to know late, but it's an incredible platform to share your achievements as you learn, share your learning journey, and then share your achievements as you go. A lot of people do not know this, but you can get professional connections on LinkedIn. You can get job offers on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a space for job offers, and putting yourself on a platform where a lot of people, professionals, it gives you more leverage, when it comes to getting jobs, clients, when it comes to bridging that skill gap, and all of that. So those two things, take courses, and then engage more with LinkedIn. So for courses that digital, skills that young people can get, there's digital marketing, courses like SEO, email marketing, mobile optimization, omni-channel marketing, improving customer experience with digital technologies, UI, UX, graphic design, even social media marketing. Those are skills that are gradually selling, or that are selling, hotly selling. Let me not use the word gradually. They are selling hotly. And so it would be a shame to not take advantage of, the opportunity, the free courses that are available, and then the opportunity that is available now to your beck and call. So I think basically for this question, that is all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. That was beautifully explained. So, Blessing, you talked about, you identified some areas where youth are lagging in the digital space. So, from these gaps you've identified, can you give us some global best practices to address this digital gap?
Okay, thank you so much for this question. So I will start first by saying that globally, especially in the developed countries, you would find out that the curriculum used for in schools, I mean, there is already digital. There's a bit of digital technology embedded in the curriculum, and this curriculum is not only for people in the higher institutions. It is first schools and the preschools. This is because the earlier you introduce young people to digital skills, the earlier it helps them to, is their formative stage. So it helps them to quickly decide on the kind of things they want to learn. A typical example, if you're to compare a child who lives in the US or in the UK versus somebody who is in maybe a country, let me not mention any country, but maybe in a developing country, you'll find out, or you'll find out that they are what they want to study in school, at age 5 or at age 6. When you ask them what do you want to become, what do you want to become in future, they have different skill sets. You hear somebody say things around, oh, I want to develop a website, I want to become a maybe a cybersecurity expert, compared to other people where you hear people say things like, I want to become a teacher, I want to become a maybe in hairdresser, I want to become, this is because of the realities of our educational systems, educational systems that are across generally. So generally, the best practice is to catch them young. That phrase has been used severally, but cannot be overused because it's important that you catch them young. So in catching them young is they expose these young people to clubs, that's safe spaces, clubs. You find a young person already has access to a mobile device or a tablet for learning. So these things actually have their side effects, but with proper monitoring, the child will be able to access or harness the best value, as best as possible. So the best practice, once again, is catching them young. And in catching them young, so relating it back to our country, relating it back to Nigeria, and also relating it back to, the youth that are our targets. Because if we are looking at digitalization, then we are looking at the youth. So relating it back to us here is to ensure that we are able to look out for incentives. So by incentives, this is what I mean. Spread the news about digital skills, spread the news about career, starting a career, spread the news about, and also mentioning places where people can actually chat up these careers, because there are a lot of young people who actually want to delve into the tech space but have little or no knowledge. So I would pick what Elizabeth mentioned. Elizabeth mentioned something amazing that Microsoft is doing. You can learn a course, with Microsoft, and their courses are very short. Amazingly, Microsoft is also working with Tech for Dev to deliver some of their program, and because of the purpose of this conversation, I think I can mention that there is a current challenge that is going on, where is in partnership with Microsoft. Microsoft is currently encouraging people to take digital skills, and there is a price for it. The reason why they have to incentivize is because they want young people to be committed to it. So you can actually learn a basic digital course for a chance to win a million naira, or learn an intermediate digital course for a chance to win 2.5 million naira. And these courses on the normal day would have cost a fortune, but the courses are for free. So all of this is to ensure that lots of young people actually are open to the opportunities that tech has to offer. We will get to a point where lots of jobs will go out. I mean, COVID already opened our eyes to that reality. So we are still going to get to the point where some jobs will no longer be valid. But the question is, are you valid enough at that point in time? Like, would you be able to survive that particular period? So that's the currency you will need at that point in time, is having at least one tech skill. Yeah, so another thing that I think is relevant for me to mention here is to understand that there is no age that is too small for you to, there's no age that is too small for you to chart up a career. So if you feel like, oh, I am already above 20, is this something I can do? Yes, it's something. If you feel like, oh, I have a young person who is 5, 6, or 7, you can actually help them chart up those careers, because the earlier they start, the better. And the thing about the mind, the more inquisitive you are, the more knowledge you want to grasp, actually. And people will not pay you for being a problem. People will pay you for solving a problem. So that's what this digital skills does for you. It helps you to see that there are problems and opens your mind to how you can actually solve this problem, because you are supposed to bridge the gap. But how would you bridge the gap if you do not have the skills? So once again, I would, for the purpose of, I want to bring a balance to the fact that people always think about, when you hear digital divide or bridging or digital skills, the first thing that comes to people's mind is coding. That's completely wrong. The fact that I work in digital space doesn't mean I code. I do not code. I'm not sure I want to learn how to code. There are a lot of careers. I'll just mention a few. You can chat up a career as a software developer. You can chat up a career as a UI UX designer, as a graphics designer. You can chat up a career as a digital marketer, as a cybersecurity expert, as a data analyst. You can chat up a career as a product manager. You don't even need to code. The fact that you manage people who even code is also a career in tech. So understanding that all of these things are things that, when you have this skill set, Elizabeth mentioned LinkedIn as a great selling point. Like, you meet people, you have opportunity to work for people who are not even in your region, and you get paid because of the fact that you actually have a skill set. You are solving a problem. Yeah. So one of the things that has helped me thus far is the fact that, even though I also believe that I think I started a bit late also, is the fact that your network, sharing opportunities, having the right network, because you can be in a network and you're not having value for it. So which network are you in? Do you understand? And it's quite easy to get network. If you go on LinkedIn, you can search for anything you want to search, and you see a community of people who are already doing that thing you want to do. All you need to do in any skill set you find yourself is look for how you can include technology to what you are doing, because your customers have gone beyond you. Like, your customers have gone beyond your current location. Your customers are global, and if you don't have a technological skills, if you don't even know about digital citizenship, if you don't even know about digital marketing, if you don't know about how are you able to move your business from level 0 to where you want to be. For example, Reinhardt is not even in Lagos. I'm in Lagos. Elizabeth is in Calabar. I don't know where Tracy is, but we are able to connect together because we have technology. So imagine if this didn't exist, we won't be able to speak to ourselves. So there's power in tech, and your ability to wanting to come into tech. Like, the first thing is for you to have the willpower to say you want to, and then look out for how you can learn, leverage opportunities. There are a million opportunities out there for you, especially for women and girls. I would say that what tech did for women and girls, we cannot recover from it yet, because of the fact that we are trying to bridge the digital divide, the inequality that exists. We are trying to close that gap. So there are a lot of opportunities for women and girls for free. Like, there are a whole lot of opportunities. I'm just dwelling on women and girls because I have we are 4 women here speaking, and I know that there are other women that are joining right now, and that you are just wondering, how do I go about joining? Just check LinkedIn's, several opportunities are there for you for free. People are willing to pay for you to learn skills. If you check the Microsoft, for example, Microsoft is a big supporter of women and girls, like huge supporter, massive supporter of women and girls. So these opportunities are there. And what we need to do differently, for our Nigerian youth, or for us to take the next leap, is for us to encourage ourselves. Don't hoard information. I mean, if you have an opportunity, don't hoard it. Let everybody know about digital skills that are available. Share links as best as possible with people. Even if you don't want to chat that particular career, you don't know someone who needs it. So I'll wrap up by saying that earlier in the year, there was an opportunity for somebody to learn, I think it was data science, and it was not something that I wanted to do at that point in time, But then I had to spread the news and say, "Oh, do you want?" And I mean, there was a young guy who really wanted to learn and didn't have the money to pay for it. But just because I mentioned it and it was for free, the person took up the career, and now the person is doing well. So that's how it works. If you're not going to do something, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't tell another person about the information. It's a global village, and we need you, every individual, for us to achieve that. Finally, just keep spreading the news, keep encouraging other people. And don't forget that challenge. Just check Microsoft, find out that there are opportunities for you to learn, plenty opportunities. I'm open to even dropping information on the Facebook channel. You can ask questions, drop your questions, and we'll be able to answer you. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Blessing. I just feel like I shouldn't stop listening to you. You should just continue speaking. So I've learned so much from these amazing champions, and I'm sure the viewers have learned a lot too. So um if you've learned one or two things, you can just drop it in the comment section below. Just drop what you've learned. I've learned that you have to leave a good digital footprint. You don't have to post unnecessary things when they are not necessary for you to post. And then you have to be mindful of the information you spread. Stop spreading fake news. And then you have to take courses. If you want to do something, you have to start from learning. And when you want to learn, you have to be intentional about it. So just start from somewhere, take courses. Our amazing speakers have recommended so many platforms where you can take free courses. So take courses, build career in technology and so on. So I'll be expecting comments on what you've learned. And if you have any question, you can drop it in the comment section below. Okay, so to our speakers, we are going to have final thoughts from them. So Tracy, you can go first.
Thank you so much. It's been an amazing time. So my final words would be that we all need to go digital as much as we can in whatever way that we can. But as much as we need it, it's a need. It's no longer something that we just want, right? It's more intense right now. As much as we need to do this for the time that we are in and for the future that we envisage, we also need to be very careful with what we do out there. We also need to be very intentional with what we do out there. Don't just go all out, because it is a no man's space, it's a no man world, right? So as you are out there trying to gain skills, upskill yourself, do a lot of things to make sure that you are relevant for the time and for the future. Please take heed, be careful, read things through, know what you're getting into. They should correlate with your values and what you want to be known about you in the future. So so that when you're not there, your digital footprint will speak of the person that you are, not a representative of something that you're not. So that will be my final words.
All right, thank you very much. So Blessing, can we have your final thoughts?
Okay, so I would say that my final words is to encourage you to, as you proceed on your digital adventure of, learning or taking a digital skill, I would encourage you to share your story. I would encourage you to share your wins, and this is because you motivate others by actually sharing stories. If you don't blow your trumpet, nobody would know, and you just don't know. Maybe you are that breakthrough that someone is looking to say, oh, for this person to be able to do this at this particular age or at this particular time, then I should be able to do it as well. So please, you are part of the success story that we need for us to be able to bridge the digital divide. So that would be my final thought as well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Blessing. So Elizabeth, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much. After listening to Blessing and Tracy, I feel so content. Like there's so much joy in my heart. Okay, basically, what I will just add to the very amazing things that they have said is just summarizing into a question. Are you ready for the future of work? That's the question I have to ask any young person out there that is watching, this live broadcast. Are you ready for the future of work? So currently, digital skills are in very, very high demand. When I was talking earlier, and I believe when Blessing was talking as well, she mentioned something about the skill gap. Where there are a lot of jobs and then there are very few skills to meet the demand for the jobs available. The truth is that whatever you learn stays with you. And we're learning digital skills, they are like transferable skills that can transcend any role. So applying them on one role to one role does not mean that they will not be useful for another role. So it's very, 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 very important. And now it's very easy, very accessible. Before we would say at the tap of a button, now we no longer use button phones. We now use phones that have, interactive screens. So I would say at the tap of your screen, you can have access to any course from any facilitator anywhere in the world, just from the comfort of your house. So seize this opportunity, to make the most of, everything that's happening now and the trajectory in which the world is moving. I wish you all the best in your journey. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. So we have a comment from Abdul Basit Olarewaju. God bless the sponsor of this initiative. God bless you too. So if you have any other question, you can just drop it in the comment section below. Okay, so AGK said is a good digital citizen. Okay, all right. You can as well drop comments on what you've been doing to be a good digital citizen. Okay, so in the absence of no question, we've ended this session, and I must say it is an insightful one. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure that the viewers have learned a lot too. We've learned so much from these awesome ladies, champions, and we hope to learn more from them. So take care of yourself, everyone. I wish everyone a wonderful weekend.